We'll go through this PC hardware basics. So I will tell you what we can learn here, and after this one we'll go to the operating system also. So in PC hardware, know about a basic PC components like CPU, RAM, ROM, motherboard, BIOS, hard disks, SSDs, okay, SMPS kind of stuff. Okay, and how the CPU is look like. What is the use of CPU? What are the some properties of CPU? What is the difference between RAM and ROM? What is a ROM? What is RAM? What is RAM properties? What is BIOS? Okay, what is BIOS settings? CMOS battery. Okay, and what is motherboard? What is SMPS? Okay, and some other secondary storage devices. In that one, hard disk, SATA, PATA hard disk, and SSDs. Okay, SSDs. What is the disk management? What is MBR GPT? And what is boot processing? And what are the issues at booting time? That we will discuss as a part of PC hardware basics. Okay, so we will take help of previous class notes. Daily you have to go through what we discuss and what are we discuss from starting also, guys, so that make easy for you. Okay, because I have gathered some few the kind of stuff, so we'll see those things from here. Okay, so we have a cabinet. This is called a cabinet, guys. Lot of people think it is a CPU. It is not a cabinet, it is a CPU. It is a simple cabinet. Okay, so what is the cabinet contains? Can see inside a cabinet we have a CPU, motherboard, RAMs, SMPS, hard disk, DRAM, like that. Other components which we are connecting to our cabinet. Okay, so whether it is a laptop or desktop, we have a cabinet. Okay, so the components are same, but different way of it is assembled. Okay, so inside this cabinet we have a CPU, central processing unit, also called as processor. We have a RAM, random access memory. We have a ROM on the motherboard, read-only memory. Okay, so which we actually it is BIOS or UEFI chip. We have motherboard. So motherboard contains components on it. Means there is some circuit board, some components built on it, and we are connecting all our devices to the motherboard only. You want to connect a keyboard, you are connecting to motherboard from backend. Okay, so like that. So you are connecting mouse, you are connecting USB, or you are connecting a CPU or a RAM or a hard disk. Everything is connected to motherboard only. Okay, we have a hard disk or a SSDs. Nowadays, mostly of laptops we are getting with the SSDs on. So that's why we must know what is the difference between hard disk and SSD, about SSD and hard disk also. CD-ROMs and DVD-ROMs we are not using currently. Even floppy disk is not available. Floppy disk is completely removed. Okay. SMPS is compulsory to give the power supply. One by one we will learn kind of stuff. Out of this cabinet, so we can are connecting different kind of stuff, right? We need a keyboard, input device it is. Mouse is a pointer device, monitor our output, display device it is. Printers and scanners. Guys, I have a document in my PC that is called a soft copy. I have a picture in my PC that is called a soft copy. Means data in your computer or mobile phone or your laptop, it is a soft copy. It can be a picture or it can be your document, PDF or DOCS or text file. It is a soft copy only. You print on a paper, that is called a hard copy. You print on a paper, that is called a hard copy. Printer from soft copy to hard copy. Scanner, you have a document, so like your college certificate is there. You want to store in your PC or you have to send to your company. How you do it? You scan it. Okay, you scan your hard copy, then it will convert into the soft copy in your PC. Touchpads, you know, touchpads, laptop having a touchpads for instead of mouse kind of stuff. Touch screens, some laptops, desktops, two-in-one laptops, two-in-one desktops, all-in-one desktops comes with a touch screen. You can use touch screen to give an input, like your mobile phone tabs. You can use a touch screen to give input. Mic and speakers. So mic, I'm speaking. So then mic, take my voice input, convert into electrical signal, and that is converted into some binary format, digital format. Again, it will process, right? So speakers, whenever you speak, I can able to hear through the speakers. Okay. Card readers, you have a memory cards, yes, cards kind of stuff. So then it is a card reader kind of stuff. Okay. Card readers. So like SD cards are there, so you can connect sometimes in mostly in the laptops. Okay, they have a built-in card readers are there. Simply directly can insert the card reader. Bluetooth devices, built-in Bluetooth devices or additional Bluetooth devices you can connect to your system, like Bluetooth headphones, Bluetooth mouse. Okay, Bluetooth projectors, printers, like that. Bluetooth type of connectivity. External hard disk. Nowadays, guys, it is you have a lot of data in your PC. Lot of data in your PC. Okay, so you cannot able to hold the data for longer time. So then it is external. Put it in a external hard disk. So then your main PC will become free. The joysticks are used as simply a game controller. You know, Windows 10 having a Xbox feature. You want to play a game, so then you need a joysticks, right? So that's gaming controllers kind of stuff also you can connect it. Okay, you guys got it? What are the components we have?
Yes, sir.
Actually, typing is good. uh, Copy paste is save the time, so no need to search what are we have. So first component is processor. So brain of the computer. It's a semiconductor device. Very important is central processing unit. Okay, what is CPU will do it, what processor will do it? Arithmetic and logical functions. Arithmetic and logical functions. So this is how CPUs look like, guys. Here's a processor. What is in hand? That is a processor. It's a simple chip it is. We can insert into the motherboard and lock it, so then we can use it. Different manufacturer of CPUs are there. Okay, so Intel manufacturer, AMD manufacturer are a more popular CPU manufacturers which we are using for our computers and laptops. For mobile phones, for different devices, different type of manufacturers are there. For example, you take Qualcomm mobile phone CPU, so we can see Qualcomm Snapdragon. It is a mobile phone processor, right? MediaTek company design different type of processors. Samsung Exynos is a Samsung own processor. It is. Motorola design lot of mobile phone processors, routers, switches related processors also. Then okay, like a different processor manufacturers are there. For computers and laptops, mainly Intel and AMD, different type of processors came from Intel and AMD also. Like a Pentium 1, Pentium 2, Pentium 3, Pentium 4 extreme processors, dual core processor, quad core processor, core 2 geo processors. Okay, i3, i5, i7, i9, Xenon processors. So different processors came from the Intel. AMD processors, AMD Athlon processor, AMD Ryzen 5, Ryzen 6, Ryzen 9, Ryzen 7,
Hello.
Ryzen 3. Okay, different type of Ryzen.
Hello.
Yeah, tell me.
Hello, is sir AMD full form what's
Advanced Micro Device.
okay.
AMD Advanced Micro Device. It's an American-based multinational semiconductor company. Stock prices are less. Okay.
Okay, advanced micro devices.
Advanced Micro Devices. You want to know about any thing about that one, so then you can go to their website also. See, it is products. So I want to buy Ryzen for my personal desktop, for example. Ryzen with built-in graphics, like a Radeon graphics you want it, so you can take it from it. And which type of CPU, what about that CPU performance, number of cores, information, you can get it. Okay. 1 second. Please, sir. So I think we didn't take an attendance today, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I will take once we complete that some part.
Yes, sir.
Okay, before a break, we'll take it. Okay, so this is about a small things about a processor. Again, whenever you look at a processor, so it is processor specifications. Okay, so when you look at a processor, important things you have to know, that is processor speed. The clock speed of processor increases, the data means the processing is also increases, right? It means I have a processor. Okay, go to performance and see the CPU. This is my clock speed, 2.6 gigahertz processor it is. Okay, 2.6 6 gigahertz processor. Some processors are 4 gigahertz, some are 3 gigahertz, some are 1.5 gigahertz, some are 1 gigahertz, some are 833 megahertz. The clock speed defines the somewhat like a speed of processing also. Width or architecture, 32-bit type of processor. Is it a 64-bit type of processor? We have to know it. Earlier days means not very old days. Okay, we are used 32-bit type also. Recently, most of the computers are a processors. We can say it is 64-bit systems only we are getting. Okay, so what is the advantage of 64-bit? Means you can run bigger applications, complex applications, and we can get a lot of memory support. RAM support is also increases. Okay, so speed and width, 32-bit or a 64-bit processor it is. FSB, front side bus, the processor, one of the specification is FSB, that defines what kind of RAM model you can use it, what kind of RAM clock speed you can use it. Okay, so for example, you take my memory, so it is a speed is 1600 megahertz. Why I should use this RAM with 1600 megahertz? Because it is compatible with your CPU. Okay, and every processor having a cache memory. My processor cache memory is 3 MB. My processor cache memory is 3 MB. 3 MB cache memory. So find out the cache memory of processor. Nowadays, most of the processor not a single core processor. There is a multi-core processors. Means one processor having a multiple cores inside. And each core again divided into threads. Means that is a logical processors. So know about this one also. A processor having a multiple cores and threads is better handling of multitasking. Better handling of multitasking. That is the number of cores per processors and all. Early days only single processor. For server kind of stuff, they need a more processing power. So what they will do, they use multiple processors side by side, multiple processors, 2 or 4 or 3 like this. They use multiple processors. Okay, but for a desktop it become very challenge because of single processors. So multitasking is going on, but we need next. So we need a more processing power, right? So it become very big challenge what they have done. They take one processor and another processor, two processors like this, and one common shared cache memory. It's a cache memory, it's a processor 0, processor 1. So it is handled like this. Any instruction and data loaded to cache to processor. So two processors become one single processor. This is called a dual core processor. So later, instead of adding two processors as a single processors, what they done, so they divide one processor into two parts, because processor is already having a very good clock speed, high performance processor it is. So we don't require two, but we have to make one processor and work as a two processors. It's become core 0, it is a core 1. They call core 0, core 1. So it is a core 2 geo processor. And what is the advantage? Two cache memories, separate two cache memories. For each core, a cache memory. It means it run one application or one task. This is run another task, means multi processing, multi tasking is become more easier. Next development is one processor split into two parts. That is 4-core processor, means quad core processor type. Okay, quad core processor. 4 cores are there. 4-core processor or a quad core processor. You know, octa core processor, octa core means 8 cores are there. Deca core 10. Next, what they have done, so this take this type, means dual core type configuration, means combination of these these cores plus dual core concept. Okay, dual core concept and core concept, they make this like this. It become a threads. So earlier it is 2 core, now it is 2 core 4 thread for logical processors. It is 4 core 8 thread processor. That is a multi-threading. Okay. So number of cores per processor, number of threads are logical processor per processors. And nowadays, what are the processor you are purchasing, guys? That must have a virtualization technology. Why processor need a virtualization technology? Because nowadays we are buying 64-bit processors. If it contains a virtualization technology, means you can run a multiple virtual machines, Docker kind of applications. You can run multiple virtual machines. You can create in a virtual machine. You can install what are the operating system you want it. For example, mine is Windows 10 Home. I want to practice Linux. I want to teach Linux. So I have to buy a new system, right? So instead of that one, I create a virtual machine. Inside a virtual machine, I install a Linux machine, Linux OS. Same way, I have to teach Windows servers and I need a client systems. So what I have to do? So I create a one virtual machine. I install Windows Server operating system, and a client machines. I install Windows 10 operating system. Then I showed a practical like that. So that is the power of virtualization technology in the processor. Okay. So guys, compulsory check your system, or when you buying a new processor, go to their manufacturing details and find out number of cores, number of logical processor, virtualization technology is there or not, what is their cache memory and the clock speed, plus RAM supporting, what type of RAM it will support. I will show you how to check it, kind of stuff. For example, I'm going to Amazon. Okay, this is my Amazon. So I want to buy this laptop, for example. So can you see it is i7 11th generation, it is telling, and it is other facilities of processor. So laptop comes with 8 GB RAM, 512 SSD, 4 GB graphic card. So 11th generation, but where is the number? This is the number, model number. Okay, Intel Core i5 11300H model. I want to know about this processor before I am buying that laptop. So when I put search in a Google, I got ark.intel.com or intel.com .in or this one. See, it is 8 MB cache memory up to 4.4 gigahertz is there. Number of cores are 4, number of threads are 8. 8 MB cache memory. This base speed, this bus speed. So somewhere it will tell base speed. So find out the base speed. This is the base speed. It supports RAM up to 64 GB. And memory types are DDR4 3200 model. So in my laptop I have a RAM, right? So that RAM and this RAM are different. Okay, so only these type of RAMs it will support, and only it support 2 RAMs. The built-in graphic memory is IRISXE graphics. It contains some basic graphical memory. I said also check virtualization technology. These are all processor features. Of course, it is 64-bit processor and virtualization technology. Yes, it has a built-in virtualization technology. Okay, guys, this is knowing about a processor. Take your processor, search in Google. So search from intel.com or intel.in. So find out the features of your processor. Before you buying a processor or before you buying a laptop or anything, so try like this. Next, up to here, understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes.
So here it is. What is this 32-bit and 64-bit? In 32-bit processor, the instruction set is 32. Instruction set is 32-bit size of instruction and data. One instruction size is 32-bit. One data size is 32-bit. In 64-bit processor, the instruction size we have to give 64-bit size of instruction. Means the complexity of instruction increases, means complex instructions that we can give, bigger applications, heavy applications you can run easily. And it support a higher memory. It need more RAM capacity. So why we need more RAM kit? Supporting, actually it is supporting higher RAM requirement also. Okay, so you are seeing any application or operating system, anything, and it is 32-bit or 64-bit. How to know it? It written like this. On the application, it is written, it is a 32-bit or x86 or i386 or i586. So we can understand it is 32-bit. If it is written like it is a 64-bit, yes, this application is 64-bit application. x86 underscore 64, x64, AMD 64. So it is a 64-bit. What is this x86? It indicates Intel. 86 indicates Intel. x86 Intel 32-bit. x86 underscore 64 Intel 64. AMD 64 means AMD processor and 64-bit. AMD type. So if anybody asks question, what is your system bit? So 32-bit or 64-bit processor it is. System architecture. Sometimes what is your system architecture? You will tell about processor, RAM, hard disk and all. No problem, but also tell it is 32-bit or a 64-bit system. Okay. Compulsory follow the compatibilities, guys. Your processor is 32-bit, so operating system must be 32-bit. Your device drivers also must be 32-bit. And applications also 32-bit. For certain applications also supported with the 16-bit applications, also supported with a WOW32 kind of stuff additionally. They need additional patch or a application to run that 16-bit application in 32. WOW32 means Windows 16 on Windows 32. That meaning is that one. Again, for 64-bit processor, you have required 64-bit operating system only. And you have to install compulsory 64-bit drivers only. And better to use 64-bit applications. If you want to use 32-bit applications, there is a built-in WOW64 or maybe additional WOW64 is required to run 64-bit applications. Okay, so this is some part of your CPU. First of all, what is CPU? Central Processing Unit. It is single chip. It is semiconductor device. It's like a CMOS chip. It is like means it's built in a CMOS. Everything is CMOS. Don't put CMOS here. CPU do arithmetic and logical functions. CPU contains arithmetic and logical operations. ALU, CU kind of stuff. Different manufacturers like Intel and AMD manufacturers are there. Okay. For CPU always it is like a CPU clock speed and it is 32-bit or 64-bit type of processor, and CPU supporting RAM models and RAM clock speeds, CPU cache memories, CPU number of cores in the CPU, number of logical processor in CPU. Okay, virtualization technology is there or not, always important. Nowadays, virtualization technology compulsory have to check in nowadays. Okay. So small point about CPU is also there, guys, about these things. What is these things? Heat sinks and heat sink fans and heat sink dust cleaning system. So every CPU, on the CPU there is a heat sink. There is a heat sink. On the heat sink we have a fan assembly. Okay. Different processors, different type of processors, different type of motherboard support need a different type of heat sinks. Okay, but heat sink is there, fan is there. What is use of this heat sink? Guys, processors will get heated. Processor will get heat. When it is running, processor will get heat. The heat become overheated. Not just heat, it is become overheated. The processor will damage. Processor will damage. Again, CPU get heated. Once it is get overheated, CPU is damaged. How to protect it? So what we will do, we'll put some thermal paste on it first. On the thermal paste, we put this heat sink on it. On the heat sink, we put the heat sink fan. What is the use? This thermal paste will make absorb more heat to the heat sink. Means heat sink absorb the heat. Heat sink absorb the heat from your processor. The fan is runs, so this air will rotate inside this heat sink. Heat sink is it's not a one solid part. It is having a these gaps are there. In heat sink, it's like a small gaps are there. Okay. Like it is a kind of structure. It is like that. Air will blow through this one. Air flow easily go through this one. So heat sink absorb the heat. Air flowing through this heat sink will make the heat sink cool. So then we can maintain constant temperature. Constant temperature. Okay. So processor, in order to protect processor from overheating, what we are using? We are using heat sink fan and thermal paste. This paste will give more connectivity, more transmission of heat to the heat sink. In the laptop, we have this type of heat sink. In this laptop, we have this kind of heat sink. So under this one, we have a processor. The processor heat is absorbed by this plate and transferred to this copper rod and give it to this heat sink bar. The fan rotates and blow out the air outside. make it cool this rod. Okay, what is this, guys? And how to maintain this one and instructions and all. Sometimes this heat sink fans, either this fan or heat sink or in a laptop, inside a laptop, this heat sink fans, okay, those blades will get dusty, will get a dusty. Okay, so because of this dust, heat cannot escape. It become overheated. Processor getting a overheated. So processor is getting a overheated. Heat sink is not absorbing the heat. So what happened? Processor will be damaged. So what system will do? You restart the PC without any errors. Okay. You turn on your PC. PC is running. Suddenly it is restarting. It is restarting. So without showing any error on the screen. Keep restarts. Okay. So what is the one of the reason? One of the reason is your processor. There is a heatsink paste. Maybe someone disturbed this heatsink paste. Sometimes you, for a cleaning purpose, you clean this heatsink paste. Maybe the heatsink is not sitting properly. Heatsink is not set properly. Or maybe heatsink got lot of dust. There is a three options. One is if heatsink fan stop working or heatsink is not sit on CPU properly, CPU will get heated. To prevent from damaging the CPU from damaging because of heat, it restart itself. Okay, so what are the check? Check your heatsink and heatsink paste and the fan. Another one is dust. Clean up the dust. Even I have seen that kind of stuff. So in our office, earlier office, so we have a system which is near to the window. So entire dust collection is at that system only. So one guy is seriously working. So while he is working means he's turned on your PC, it's working good. After 5-10 minutes, it restarting itself. Initially, I don't understand, but I want to check once. So I open that cabinet and see the lot of dust on this heatsink. I've taken a small brush like this only. It's like a, you know, paint brush. It is normal paint brush only. It is because it contains good bristles. So I clean up that heatsink. This kind of heatsink only. I clean up the heatsink and reconnect it back. Then it is working. Okay. So what is the issue here? System restart itself without showing any BSOD kind of error. So one of the possibility, heat processor is getting overheated. To protect from overheating, system is restarting itself. Okay, that's the first thing. Second, okay, also better to check. So what are we have to check it? Check heatsink fan, heatsink, and under heatsink and on the processor under heatsink on the processor heatsink paste is good or it is got cleaned or something is dusty like that. So clean up the dust, apply the heatsink paste again and assemble the heatsink properly and make sure it is sit properly and fan should be run. Okay, for laptops also, guys, important is do not put your laptop on the bed or any leather surfaces. Put it on any wooden table or plastic type means table made kind of also okay. Do not put anything surrounding to your laptop. Don't put on a paper or a book also. Put it on a wooden table is a first preference. And make sure it is keep your laptop always on a cool places and clean places only. Not on a bed, not on your clothes, not on your thighs. Okay, labs. Okay, guys, understand up to here?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I want to tell about RAM. Yeah, tell me.
Sir, I have joined little bit late. Can you mark my attendance?
Okay. So we'll take